What's going on, gamers? Suro here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we got the brand new Sunken update. It just dropped a few minutes ago, and we have a lot of stuff to go over. They dropped the patch notes on us as well. So there are some things that even I didn't know about on here. I did get early access to the new update for about 24 hours, so I do know about most of the stuff. But there are a few things in the patch notes that I wasn't too sure about because I did not have access to them. Now, one thing to note is Core Keeper is actually having a sale right now. It's 10% off. So if you've not played this game, you definitely should. It's worth every penny. Now, let's take a look at the new updates. So the main features is the new biome. We have the Sunken Sea biome, and this thing is massive. I have played this for the new update about 10 hours, I would say, of gameplay, and the new biome is really massive and it's very fun. There's also a new sub-biome that is within the Sunken Sea. It is the Forlorn Metropolis, and it's has all the like core sentries, like the giant statues and stuff moving around, and there is a ton of loot to find within these like ancient cities. So that is very exciting. Now the new NPCs, we have the Amaroth, the Sea Titan. This is of course the new Titan boss, and then we also have Morpha, the aquatic mass. This one is a side boss. Moving on, we got 5 new enemies. We have the Bubble Crab, the Slippery Slime Blob, the Tentacle, the Caveling Scholar, and the Core Sentry. So the Bubble Crab is a pretty large crab. It shoots bubbles at you and it hurts really hard. So be careful on that. The Slippery Slime Blob is just a normal slime, but it's blue color instead. And it hits you with like a debuff that'll make your character like slide around. And it also has a blue slime trail. If you touch it, it'll make you slide around as well. The tentacles are just the tentacles that are in the water. They just throw stuff at you, just like the mold tentacles in the mold dungeon. The Caveling Scholar is pretty much like the Caveling Shaman, except they shoot out a different type of attack. And then the Core Sentry is the really big guy. He's really big and bulky, and he pretends to be a statue. Sometimes they're statues, and sometimes they're not. Now, we also got a new merchant with this update. You can find the merchant in the Azios Wilderness area, or there's actually another way that I found that you can get this. If you defeat Azios the Sky Titan, he'll drop an item. It's like a pile or a bucket of something, and you can just put that in a smaller room, just like you do with the other merchants, and he will actually show up there. So if you defeat Azios, it is a guaranteed drop. So with this new update, go fight Azios Sky Titan, get that new item, and then just place it in a room to get the new fishing merchant there, because you are going to need the fishing merchant. He sells a bunch of fishing lures and some stuff that you're going to need to access some other content within the game. Now, the last enemy type is a new mushroom-like enemy that spawns in the dirt biome and from fungal growth. Fungal growth will only generate in worlds created after the update. So I actually don't recommend you starting a new world just for this little feature because it's not that important in my opinion. So just use the world that you have because you have a lot of time invested in it and it's really not worth doing that. The new mushroom-like enemy is also just a normal like beginner mob that is a mushroom. You can attack it and it drops a mushroom. That's about it. So nothing too crazy there, but they are pretty cute and they're pretty interesting. Now, onto the next topic, we have new mechanics. The Octarine Workbench with new tools, crafting, and base building options. We have boats in the game. You will use these boats to traverse the new biome literally like every second that you're in there that you're not on land. The new biome is seriously just a giant ocean with a bunch of islands. So it's really fun. Boats are going to be your best friend in this update. Portals can be crafted and placed in the world to teleport between them. I have made these. They are very expensive to make, but they are worth every penny because you can just teleport anywhere on the map that you have a teleporter placed, and it's instantly. So you can move around the map really fast once you get some of these. We have a new jewelry workbench allowing players to craft new jewelry. There are some new rings and necklaces. One of them lets your boat go faster. Another one allows you to get items from a longer radius. So it's like a magnetic ring. So it lets you pick up stuff in a wider radius than before. So you don't have to walk that close to them. And then there's some stuff for some range attacks and things like that. They added a table saw that can be crafted at the electronics table that allows players to cut wood into planks. You will be needing planks for a lot of the stuff. Pretty much everything that's new in this update, you're going to have to use planks, and There is a new wood type in the game that is the coral wood. You'll need to turn this into coral planks. Next, we have added a fishing merchant. We already knew about that. Sprinklers can be crafted at the automation table. Now, in the trailers and stuff, it showed the sprinklers were hooked up to electricity, but a lot of the content creators got to play this a little bit earlier, including myself, and we mentioned that we just do not want to have electricity connected to our sprinklers because it messes up our farms. And luckily, the developers listened and they removed that. So now you do not have to use electricity to run your sprinklers. So that is very cool. So next is the vanity slots. A dresser can be crafted at the carpenter bench in which players can change what equipment is visually shown on their character. So this will allow you to, it's essentially transmodification, just like in some of the other games. Say I want to wear the best armor that I have, something like the Ivy's clothing, I can put that on, but say I like the look of the Scarlet armor, I can put the Scarlet armor inside of my vanity dresser, and it'll actually give me the look of the Scarlet armor, but I have all the perks and stuff like that of the Ivy armor. So if that makes sense, it pretty much lets me choose what I want my character to look like without sacrificing some of the stats that I want from other items. You can also toggle your helmet and your clothes and stuff like that on and off. That way, if you don't want to wear your helmet, but you still need a helmet on, that way you have access to those extra buffs and things like that. You can definitely do that. Next, we have the bait workbench for crafting baits. You can actually make this at the 10 workbench. You have map markers now that can be placed on the map. Players can now eat food, drink potions, place objects, and fight while in a minecart or a boat. Added fungal growth, and then they also added caveling moss. New items, we have the octarine ore, we have 10 new weapons, 7 new offhands, 20 rings and necklaces, 24 new armor pieces, 20 plus new decorative objects, 3 new plants, 2 new types of food, 5 new fish, new valuables, a legendary ranged weapon, baits that can be held in your offhand to give you different bonuses while you're fishing, new fishing equipment set that can be gained from fishing in the different biomes, and added a wood bow that can drop in the dirt biome, an iron bow that can be crafted at the iron anvil, and a new octarine bow. Lots of new items added to the game. Additional content. We have new unique locations in the Sunken Sea biome. A new dash feather has replaced the hand mortar in Azios loot table. I actually obtained this. It looks really cool, and it's about the same as the other feather, so it's nothing too crazy. I did get it on my first kill on Azios. The iron chunk necklace sold by one of the merchants has been replaced with a mysterious slate device that becomes available after activating the core. Moving on to balancing and improvements, bosses are now guaranteed to always drop at least one piece of equipment or weapon. The cartography table and distillery table cost planks instead of wood, increased chance for chests to appear in the mold subbiome, and increase the rewards from those chests. Double the amount of ores in ore boulders, making them last twice as long. That's really great because before you could get about 500 to 1,000 ores out of one of the giant ores, like the big boulders. Now it's doubled, so it's going to be more worth your time to put some drills on those giant boulders. Increased chance for higher rarity fishes to bite. Increased damage of all ranged weapons a bit. Now, this is actually a big one because ranged is the way to go with this new update. When you're going to be in your boat fighting a lot of these mobs, you want to use the new staff or the new bows because range is definitely the way to go. It is actually how I defeated the boss on my first run through because it's so much easier to shoot the boss from a distance and use your boat to navigate rather than trying to hit him with your melee attack. And then we have increased range damage gained from the well-trained aimed talent. Respawn immunity starts fading out when any action is attempted. Merchants no longer drop all of their inventory on death, so no more farming merchants. You cannot AFK farm the merchants any longer. They messed around with the roots, and the big larvas from the hive mother eggs can now destroy hive walls when chasing the player. Now, the last thing we are going to go over is the quality of life. We have increased the hit radius of projectiles shot by the player. If you guys are noticing a pattern here, a lot of this is based around range. Like I said, you are going to want to have a great range build if you want to take on some of these stuff in the Sunken Sea biome, because range is, it's pretty much what you want to go for. because a lot of these mobs, they do a lot of damage. So if you're up close, chances are you're going to get melted in no time. And then if you're in your boat, you just can't really melee attack them. You can attack in your boat, but if you get really close inside your boat, the mobs are probably going to kill you by the time you're done hitting them with your sword. So get you a bow or something like that, and stay out there on your boat and just start shooting everything and dodging. Now we have increased the range of electricity from generators, increase the inventory of large chests to have twice the amount of small chests. This is a big one. I logged back into my world. All of my large chests actually had room now. They are massive. You have plenty of space, so we don't have to worry about getting a ton of chests anymore. Soul orbs no longer require the player to be nearby to disappear. This allows titans to respawn when the player is far away from the spawn location. We have a quick swapping a ring. Shift click will prioritize swapping with a ring that isn't the same ring. And then increased density of unique locations in areas of interest that spawn in the dirt biome. This only applies to newer generated areas. Gravestones can be placed in water. Now, I know a lot of people talked about the dedicated servers. We really didn't get anything here. It says log common client commands on dedicated servers and forward arguments on dedicated server launch scripts. So, unfortunately, we didn't really get anything else that some sort of like grief prevention when it came to the dedicated servers. And that's about it. There are a few more things I didn't really touch up on because I didn't think that they're as important. But if you would like to read this, I'll leave this a link to the patch notes in the comment section below, or probably in the description of the video. So definitely check that out if you're interested. I really hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy the Sunken Sea update because it's really fun. Like I said, I've played it and I had a blast with it. So I hope you guys have as much as fun as I have been, and I will see you all in the next video.